Welcome in a new edition of the Intimate Show. Today's show I have a beautiful guest, Jen Allyson. She will join us in a second. She's actually sharing now on her wall the feed. And we'll talk about intimacy and spirituality. And you probably saw already what I posted with the key, saying that basically it's like, why can't I see? Okay, am I not visible? Okay, can somebody else put in the comments if he can see or not? If I'm visible? Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Could you see me? Because I just got a comment from somebody who can
see.
see.
On Facebook, and I could hear you, but I don't know if I could hear you through this back end or through Facebook.
Okay, this is strange.
But I could definitely see you.
Okay. So, okay, I hope that other people can see as well. So, here's Jen. Yeah, I just said the general thing. So, please, Jen, introduce yourself.
Wonderful.
Who are you? What do you do?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I am a divine feminine coach. And that kind of encompasses my whole mission or battle cry in life, which is the raising and the healing of the powerful divine feminine, so that she can rise up on this earth and help heal everything that needs to be healed here. We have this amazing, incredible work to do, but it requires the women to really release themselves from the shackles that they've been in and the bondage they've been in and really step up into their power.
Nice.
Yeah.
For those who don't know me, I do multiple things, but what's relevant for today is that I do life coaching next to business coaching. And those two, I feel, that cannot go separately, because if your life is a mess, then that will reflect in your business anyway. And I'm starting to specialize, aside from grounding and meditation. Ironically, I used to hate meditation back in the days, but it became a thing, and people ask me now to do the guided meditation and stuff like that. I'm also starting to specialize now in sexuality and a lot of things that are linked to that, like trauma, addiction, blockages, and it's quite interesting. So I guess that is why we connected in the first place.
Yes, and I think what you said about business is so important too, because all these women who are now stepping into their power, they realize that the world that they're living in has been created by men, and so like all the systems that exist to support the natural tendencies of men or how they naturally create and build. And so we're having to build a whole new way of living from scratch, and that includes a whole new way of doing business, following our soul, the tantric path, all of that stuff. And so it is all interrelated: life and business and creating and freedom. And for women, it's like whole new systems are having to be created by us. We can't wait for men to create them for us because they won't be the right systems. So it all is
because we don't know.
Right.
You don't know what you need. And what we have seen is that a lot of strong women who rose to the top, there were basically men on the inside. I mean, they went completely to the male energy.
Strategies of men to really rise up within a man's world, and so yeah, so that's, we now are seeing all these amazing business coaches, these women business coaches coming into play and doing amazing things. And I follow and work with a few of them, and they're incredible. And it's just really a wonder to see how women are stepping into the business world and really changing it.
Yes, I'm experiencing that too. Actually, the coaches that I'm following, they're women.
Yeah.
And they use their feminine energy also to help us with our masculinity.
Right.
But coming from the feminine, it's not like from, yeah, you need to perform, you need to be better, you need to compete and whatever. No, it's about more a soft approach of going inwards and feel what you actually want, what you really want, not what you have been told that you should want or how you should look or appear to others. And yeah, it resonates the most with me. So that's also my approach. It's always go inwards. Even when I teach like how to ground, I show you a few things and then you try it out and you see what works for you, what feels best for you. And then please let me know, because maybe I learned something from you as well, which I can share with others. Because in the end, it's about feeling good. I mean, everything we've been doing in life is about feeling good and being happy.
Yes. Yes, and women have so many blocks around that. Men do too. But going into what our topic is, I'm leading you into this.
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead. I'm just hosting, and I'll say something I feel like saying. So
right, but
take it away.
leading into that is being able to understand and know what your own desires are at the core of creating everything that you want to create. And when we have blocks within our sexuality, then immediately there's a restriction around us knowing what is our desire. So right at the top, women don't know what they want unless you've really spent time exploring your personal desires, both with your body, with your life, with your family, with everything. If you haven't spent time specifically investing and investigating your personal desires, then you're not going to know what you want. And the thing that I hear most from women over and over again is, I don't know what I want. How do you know what you want? Well,
Men also don't know.
I'll tell you that.
Men also don't know. They are programmed to
Right.
think they want something.
Right.
Like I was programmed to believe that I should hunt women, and the more women I sleep with, the cooler I am.
Right.
But deep inside, there was always something that was like, yeah. So I was not really good at hunting because something in me was telling me like, what the fuck are you doing? This is not you. Yeah, but I want to be as cool as those cool guys who were my examples.
Right.
So
yeah,
men
so
also
the
don't know.
core of everyone is to come into yourself and find out what it is you truly desire.
Yes. And now I would love to make the first step to sexuality.
Yes.
And maybe not just sexuality, but can also be intimacy, because yeah, we had to put a word, but I feel that they're very connected.
Oh, you know what? You're cutting out just a little bit.
Yeah, you had some noise. So I was saying, I would like to bring sexuality to the mix, but not just sexuality, because sexuality on its own, we get the empty sex, which is the caveman behavior, what most people have been experiencing to now. But I would like to bring sexuality,
yeah,
as an energy with sensuality, with intimacy, which is about the connection. So what's your view on this?
Okay, so my view on this, and it's breaking up just a little bit, so I'm hoping it's getting better now, is that building a sexual relationship with yourself is key. And I say relationship because so much of our messaging around self-pleasure and masturbation, it centers around so much like guilt and shame and imbalance. And I grew up in a religious, well, I like to say cult because it was, but a very repressive sexual religion. And I am a gay woman, and so I was having my sexuality repressed on multiple levels from birth. And so my relationship with masturbation was very damaged, and I had so much shame surrounding me, and I've been on my spiritual journey for the last 5 years. And it was only in August where I had a coach recommend, and she does this with all of her clients, to masturbate daily for 30 days. And And I was like, oh, well, that's okay. Like I can do that, you know? And I didn't realize the impact that it would have, but it really changed my entire life to exist in that relationship with my body free from shame, and to take it to a personal level of, oh, I'm not here to harm myself so that I can feel something else. I'm here to enjoy myself so I can exist in pleasure and love and this mutual admiration, to have a relationship with my body and not be resisting everything that my body was or desired.
Yeah, that shame. That shame that, yeah, some of us are born with it, and the rest of us is just getting it on its plate from very young age. I mean, I remember when I was in my early teens, and apparently it's common for boys to have an ejaculation in their sleep during their teenagers. And so my mom started asking me questions like, no, no, I don't do that. No, no. And I was like, does she actually believe me? I hope so. And there was always the feeling of guilt also, because then you would think about one of your classmates, but there was always the feeling of like something was wrong. And very recently I realized, because it came to me once very long ago and then came again to me last week, that it can be actually energetic rape if it's not from a pure energy.
Right.
Or if it's not like a mutual thing. If it's your partner that you're thinking about, then it may not be that. But if it's a stranger or somebody who's looking like, then yeah, it's not a healthy thing. So I want to emphasize that, yeah, masturbation is good, and what you're talking about is mainly the connection with self, like getting to know your body, feeling what does my body want, what do my genitals actually appreciate. Because if you're doing it and you're in the end you have physical problems, it means you're doing something that your body is not happy with.
Right.
It's like some people, they have such a rough sex that they like, oh yeah, we went till you were bleeding. I'm like, seriously, is that something to be proud of? Is it harming yourself? I'm like, feel what your body really wants. Maybe your body just wants to be caressed, nothing more, for an hour, which is tantra.
Right.
Where a lot of people.
We have so many messages about our bodies, and all of them, you know, from all of our institutions, have to deal with the separation of us from our bodies. So growing up in a very religious society, it was, your body's evil. You're going to have these, your loins are to be feared. You're going to have these urges and you need to ignore them. And so there was this very mass conscious movement towards vilifying the body. And so it took me, 39 years to get to a point where finally a spiritual leader told me, don't vilify the body. The body's there for you. The body's to create this connection. The body's to experience all of these things. And every ounce of shame and guilt that exists between you and your body is keeping you from connecting to yourself.
It's interesting you're saying that, because even from a religious perspective, if the woman's breasts and vagina and a man's penis would be a bad thing, then God would have created us wearing clothes. Or have a natural cover of it, like everyone would have had such a belly that it would hang over all the things, so you would not see anything.
Right.
It would be really that shameful thing that should be always covered and hidden.
Right. So then it's like, how do we move into this more free society where we've gotten rid of the shame and the pain, and now we can exist side by side, even perhaps in nudity, like a nudist colony, where we see each other for who the person is and not as a fulfillment to this to this disordered sexual system that we've previously lived in, you know?
I see that society is built to divide because society is built by men who want to make profit.
Yes.
So I need to make you, like they used to tell me in sales courses, and I've been to many sales courses, you need to create the need in the customer. You need to make the customer want something. So you need to go to where he feels a lack, and then push there, and then show him like, oh, but this will make you feel great. This will make you happy. That's why they say for these massages, massage with happy ending. And like, actually, I was asked once, I was like, no, I'm not in the mood for that. No, definitely not you. And I was like, no. But she came with the glove, and I was like, seriously? Oh, I came here for a massage to relax. And the thing is, what you see in society a lot now, especially now, is that everything is being done so we don't connect inwards, we don't connect with others.
Yes.
So this whole COVID thing is about stay away, and everyone else is bad. It could be a potential lethal weapon. Getting close to somebody else could kill you, kill somebody you love. So it's fear, and separation. And so no gatherings, except for religious gatherings. Those are allowed. And the thing is, what we saw happening in the last 10, 15 years was that more and more people would, for example, when they meet, hug. Some people did it as a new fashion, but a lot of people did it like really hugging. I used to go to workshops and then at certain events, and people would really hug for 10 seconds or longer, like really connecting and letting the energy flow. And then we didn't need to talk. So just the hug, we connected, felt good, and then we could go and sit peacefully. Or make a round, like hug 5, 6 people, and then go and sit down, like, and it feels so good. And some people, I experienced that some people, when they give you a hug, you would really relax. Like all the tension of the body would just leave. Even faster than in the meditation.
Right.
And so that way of connecting with others is also bringing you close to yourself. So I encourage people to sit with themselves, to meditate in whatever form. You don't need to sit like, and sit with your, oh, you cannot sit on screen, with your fingers like this, and then like in the lotus position, yeah, that is a cool thing. It is like this yoga trend, like you need to have these very sexy pants, you have a string on top of the pants, so you sexualize yoga. But yoga is a new way of life, spiritual way of life. Most people just see it as, make your ass tighter so you look sexier.
Right.
Now, but it's about going inward.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You said that you didn't like to do meditation. So what kind of switched that for you? How did you get to like meditation?
A desperate need for relaxation, because I was stressed. I had my second burnout, so I was sent by my psychologist to a yoga and meditation course. And so yoga was like, ouch, like, not my cup of tea. And then meditation was like, I like the 3-minute meditation. It's short, it's practical, and I like the walking meditation, which is like putting down your feet very slowly, very consciously, making the contact with the ground, even with your shoes on. And I started applying the 3-minute meditation, also at work. When it would be like chaotic, I would just walk to the bathroom. Nobody would disturb you in the first 3 minutes. That's also how I tell it to people. Like, you just go to the bathroom and you just breathe. Make sure it's a clean bathroom. And you just do your breathing, you relax. And when you come back to your desk, you have a fresh look on everything. Like, oh, wait, this is how I can fix everything. And it helped me a lot, also with potential conflict. So that became my thing, the 3-minute meditation. And then... yeah, and then when I moved from Amsterdam to Bucharest, after exactly 1 month, I organized the first workshop with people that I invited. I didn't have a subject. And I felt I need to start with the meditation. Okay, we start with the meditation to ground. In the end, the whole bloody workshop was 2-hour meditation. Like a constant, non-stop meditation of 2 hours. People didn't realize, but we just went in. It was one about emptying your backpack and throwing the things in the big campfire that we visualized in the middle. And I would go around the group and then feel with people and help them release more. Because apparently I can help people, like give them a little push, strengthen them, and the feedback was so great, and I was really like, what just happened? I hate meditating, especially 2 hours, and I just did it. This is my first workshop in this country. What does that even mean? And now I have several meditations on my website. When there's a global thing, I organize also my own global meditation. I live stream it. And then last week I decided to also organize a discussion around it. So people join me in a Zoom call, which was an amazing thing. And it is published on YouTube. I have the link on my page. And I encourage people to have a look at my wall and watch that discussion, because it's also about sexuality. The group that just happened together, each of them felt so free to share how they're experiencing sexuality, and by allowing it, was transforming their lives. Because in the end, peace in the world starts with inner peace. So if you're in a conflict with whatever aspect of yourself, including your sexuality, how the hell will you bring peace in the world? It's like, let's go to war for peace. What? So yeah, this is how meditation became part of my thing, and now I love water, so I immerse myself in a warm bath. That's how I meditate during the winter. And in summer, it's a sun bath. I go into the sun and have a walk in the park. So those are my main ways of meditating. I don't go and run. That's boring. I get annoyed when I do that. I mean, I do it sometimes, but it's not my way.
Right.
But for some persons, it works perfectly.
Both of those ways are very sensual. So you're connecting to your body on a very like cellular level as you're clearing the mind, and I think that's really beautiful, and I really think that is key. And maybe I think the older like spiritual practices that we pulled from all these like Eastern, spiritual wisdom, a lot of it, to me, really, a lot of it lacks including the body. A lot of it lacks including your desires. And so we get into these spiritual, we jump into this new spiritual lifestyle, and we're meditating, but we're getting rid of the body too. And, and we're jettisoning everything in our life that isn't working for us, but we're not realizing that we need to be honing in our actual desires too. And so
we're running away.
Right, yeah. Right. We're using it as a path to run away instead of as a path to find ourselves, and to use the body and the desires that the body has to find our path.
It reminds me of something. I participated in a breakthrough workshop with this guy, and he was using energy and whatever. And the first thing he said, in the coming 2 days, we're going to be here on the ground in our bodies. We're not going to be spiritual up there. There's no spirituality during these 2 days. And some people are like, what? I can do a workshop and I can be so spiritual. So the person who was the most like that had a huge fight with him at the beginning of day 2. At the end of day 2, they hugged because she was blaming him for ignoring her. And he was like, yeah, you're not ready. You're not here. You're still floating somewhere up there. So once you come down, I'll work also with you, because he was working with those who would raise their hand, and then one-on-one, and then the group supporting, and it was brilliant. And today I say to people like, hey, if you're supposed to be an angel, if you're an archangel, you're actually, or whatever thing you come up with, look in the mirror. You decided to incarnate in a 3D body. So this life, at least until you die, and maybe multiple lives after that, you're going to be here. So better make something out of it. Accept it and start working from there. So yeah, I mean, these escapes is just another ways, like people take drugs, people escape in all kinds of addictions. It's just running away from who they truly are because they're afraid to go inwards and see actually the beauty of who they are. And I have that ability to see through all the walls that people have, and then I'm like, but you're so amazing, you're such a wonderful being. And then you hear how people are saying nasty things about themselves constantly and doing self-affirmations of how worthless they are, worthless, and that is sad.
Yeah.
It really hurts me. So I start not hitting them, but like sometimes get harsh on them. Like, yeah, so you really want to be a piece of shit? No, but so, do you hear what you're saying? You know, right? Self-affirmations and stuff. So you hear what you're saying to yourself and keep repeating. So do you want me to treat you like that? No. Okay, why do you say it about yourself then? And yeah, I sound annoying and mean then, but I don't care because I'm like, come on, you can do better than this.
Well, I think a lot of times people just can't see what they're resisting because it's such a shadow. It's such a piece of resistance that they don't even know that it exists. And they don't have that clarity. Maybe they've been focusing on all these other areas. They're like, yeah, I'm doing so good in all these areas. And that's great. But any resistance inside you is resistance to the whole. And that's why, to me, this piece of sexuality is just so incredibly important because we as a society have so much resistance to our sexuality. So much resistance exists. And talking about the divine feminine is sexual. Like, talk about imagining women in the forest dancing naked around a fire. Like, that's the divine feminine power. And if we're all resisting our sexuality on every single level, we're so constricted, we're so anal retentive against like anything that might be sexual or might be open or might be exploratory, or might be taboo or out of the norm. All these things, anything we constrict on, it means that we're resisting our sexuality as part of who we are, an expression of the divine, of who we are. And as long as you're resisting that expression of the divine, you're not going to find what you're looking for because you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, let that sink in. I'm talking to the viewers. Let that sink in for a moment. Because a lot of people only see sexuality as the act of having sex, not even the act of making love. And
there's a plane going.
Yeah, I love airplanes. It's interesting that making love in Dutch is vrijen, which means being free. The act of being free. And I only realized that last year. And I realized that after I had a talk with somebody through the phone, but the video call, I was in the park, and we hadn't talked about sexuality or anything, but after we hang up, I felt like after an amazing lovemaking, and I've had a few of those in my life. When I say a few, like I can count them on one hand, that I would have this amazing feeling going throughout my body, which would last up to 48 hours easily. And I had that same feeling, and I was first like, huh? But she and I, we don't have this thing, and we didn't talk about it. What's going on? And then I let it go. I just kept walking in the park, and then suddenly it hit me. I was like, what happened? And I remembered that word, and I remembered how I felt. Because in that conversation, I was completely being myself, and it was okay. We were both totally ourselves. Whatever came up, we just said it, we shared it. And that was why I felt that. And that was part of the reset of sexuality that I went through. When I talk about reset, literally hardcore reset, like you do with a computer, like everything stopped working. And after some time, it started slowly to work again, but from a different energy. And yes, I freaked out at first. Like, what happened to me? Yes, but wait, women are having a menopause, but we, the men, we're not supposed to have. No, we're proud that at the age of 80 we can still make a child, right? So what's wrong? So yeah, I freaked out. And I kept talking with a few very close friends of mine about what was happening and stuff. And then slowly it started to come back in a different way. And then it took many months before I got where I am now to really accept my sexuality, accept that I'm a man, see myself as a man. I was always seeing myself as a guy. It's the difference being a guy or a man. Probably that's also why I didn't like when somebody would say, "Listen to me, sir." Like, hey, come on, just call me by my name. Because I was not seeing myself as a real man with that energy, which is not the aggressive energy, but is the peaceful energy that can hold a space.
Right.
That's how I work with people, men or women. I hold the space for people to feel safe from the male energy. I build, let's say, the wall around to make it safe, and then from the female energy comes the just be yourself. And that combination, I realize those are both using the male and the female in my work. And you can amplify that if you put a man and a woman in a workshop, leading the workshop, because then each can use his core energy to amplify even more. And I experienced working together with a woman, 1 + 1 is 11, not 2, it's 11. I experienced that with a few women with whom I work together. And that's amazing. And one of the first things I did with the first woman I worked with, and if she's watching you, like, oh yeah, I know this one, is the magic hug. We would put the person between us, two, and hug the person. And both send our energies through the person. So man and woman do this. You get the male and the female energy flowing through you. When I became aware of my chakras, I would open all chakras and just let go of the shame and the fear. So open the sexual chakra and just let all flow and activate that person. And everyone would come out like, ah, whoa, this was amazing. Wow. And then I would go and sit down and be silent for 10 minutes because they felt parts of their body, of their being that they didn't know was there. And I experienced it too, and it's a wow experience to really feel like all of your body being alive, becoming conscious of it, including your sexuality in that moment. Because I know they would feel that I'm letting also the sexual chakra blast fully, and they would feel safe still. Because it's from pure energy.
Right.
And that's what I believe that this whole conversation is about that pure sexual energy and not the act of fucking, what a lot of people think about immediately when you talk about sexuality.
Right. It's about healed. It's about being healed in all your Venus sequence, or all your, all the ways that you need to be healed in order to share yourself with another person. And I'm sure we all have so many stories about how we weren't healed and how we used other people sexually, and how much damage that cost us and other people. And we all have that wake, I'm sure, as part of our human experience. And now, but that allows us to see, to know what we do want, to know what we do desire. I don't desire that. I desire to have this clean, pure, open energy between me and my spouse, and build that beautiful, sacred sexual relationship.
But it doesn't mean that you will block your sexual energy when you interact with others.
Right. Because being open is about being open. It's about that exchange of energy in all sorts of ways. And really, I think, as you were talking about that experience, I was thinking about just how you love your body. So let's take it back another level. So you're still working on healing your relationship with your body so that then you can heal your relationship, your sexual relationship. And so if you're still in a mode where you are insulting your body or you're self-critical about what your body looks like or how it's performing, you can't even get to that level where you're sexually open. So it's like these little steps of opening, accepting, receiving yourself as you are, and that journey of self-love that helps get you to the point where you can open fully and have that open expressed energy.
Yes, yes, and I would like to give a few examples to people now, just to realize how funny we actually are. Not crazy, not twisted. It's not about judging. And when I say funny, it's just like just see the humor in things, because we spiritual people, we can be so fucking serious. Maybe some of you have a beautiful car. If there's one scratch on it, like, oh, that's a scratch. Or somebody has it with his computer, like, nobody touches my computer, my gaming, nobody touches that, or my bike, or whatever it is you have that you don't want anything to happen to it. How about treating your body the same way? Because that car, you can replace it. The computer can replace it. Your phone, you can replace it. But your body, you can't. Even if you say, yeah, if I lose an arm, I can get a prosthetic. It's not the same. And so I really want to encourage everyone to, I'm talking from experience because I did it and I'm still doing it, to try to feel what your body needs when it comes to eating, drinking, moving, resting, exercising, whatever it is. Listen to your body and feed it properly. If you love your car, you will not take the cheapest gasoline or the cheapest fluid for the window or the cheapest cooling or the cheapest oil or have the cheapest stuff inside. I mean, you will do the best thing. Or if you love music, I had a friend who was really an audiophile, and he had these super expensive speakers, and these super expensive speakers, like 30,000 euros, like $33,000 was worth his stereo, and that was because he bought it second hand. He loved that, and he was taking such good care of it and paying attention to all the details. And why don't we do that for our own body? So feed ourselves with healthy food. Some people choose to be vegetarian, but I'm part-time vegetarian because sometimes my body is telling me, now eat meat. And I do thank the people and the animals and the plants involved in my food. So also that animal who gave his life so that I can eat the meat that I need today. And then I can really enjoy it, and I really feel very good afterwards. Where I had a period where I was feeling drained after eating, for example, red meat. Even that I don't feel now. If I eat a piece of lamb, I don't feel drained anymore, because I'm conscious to what my body wants. And I can go on weeks without eating meat and only eating raw food. And suddenly I need something cooked or I need something else, and it's fine. I just listen. And even the things that you would think like, but this is not really not healthy. And Jason Estes is talking regularly about that when he says, yeah, I love pizza with pepperoni. And it's not harming him. You can see he's still very healthy, but he eats a lot because that's what his body is saying, but that's okay for me. And so find what it is you need. And if you think that eating that one thing will make you fat, then don't eat it because it will make you fat. But if you believe eating that today will not, it will not. And it will feel good for you. And the same with exercising, with resting. I just listen. What does my body want? And I notice that if I don't, I have back pain. Lower and higher back pain. And then I can start doing my exercises, but the back pain is not going away. But I have other periods where I don't exercise for 6 months and I have no back pain. And then I know it was because I didn't take good care of myself or I let myself get stressed about something. And stress is also not taking care of your body because it's an emotion that needs to be expressed to your body. So if your body is hurting, it's actually giving you a signal like, hey, whatever you're doing now is not working for me. And then you can go to that, focus on what's hurting your body and feel like, why are you hurting? What are you trying to tell me? And there are these logical things. Lower back pain is fear, is lack of safety, things like that. So you can find if it's your neck and your shoulders or upper back, it means you're carrying a lot of, let's say, responsibilities on your shoulders which don't belong there, because if they do belong there, you won't feel the pain. So listening to your body, take good care of it, treating it like the most valuable object you'll ever have in your life, and I believe it is, will help you in this whole process. And then you will also be more conscious of what you're feeling when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to love, when it comes to pain, when it comes to action, creativity, all these things, or expression, like throat chakra, third eye, seeing everything, crown chakra, getting the knowledge, all that becomes possible. And then you can feel that, okay, I've sent this sexuality. And then caveman behavior is, okay, I need to have sex with that person. And I used to be like that. And then suddenly I made contact with my second chakra, and now I can understand what it's saying. So I can like, oh, but this is neither me, neither her. It's just collective, or it is here in the room. It's something going on, but it's nothing between us. Or this is really me, but I don't feel reciprocity, so I will not act. Or, oh wow, I feel this coming from her, this desire, but no, my body is telling me no, not this person, for whatever reason, not this person. And that's okay. But it's only possible if you become conscious of your body, so you're in touch with your body, so you're actually listening to your body and hear what it's saying. Because most people, when the sexual chakra activates, they just hear, ah, oh shit, I need to have sex, and they jump. Where it may tell you a whole story. Or like I recently discovered that, I mean, a friend has been teaching me to connect with my genitals because there's a lot of wisdom there. And so my relationship with my genitals changed, and I'm like, hey, wait, that actually feels good. Because I'm paying more attention to, okay, what do you guys want? What do you really want? What do you need? And sometimes it's something very simple. You don't need somebody else for that. Sometimes it's just holding. And it's something what men do sometimes. I used to sleep on my belly very long and hold my balls. Until in 2012, I was in a session with somebody, and she told me that I had been a slave, and it was very common for slaves to be castrated. So I was still carrying that trauma, so I released that. And since then, I don't feel that need anymore to hold and protect my balls. And there are many things that we are doing unconsciously, but if we pay a little bit of attention to it, we can feel where is this coming from, and then heal that and be more free. Also, when it comes to lovemaking, some people, no, that I will not do, that I will not do. I'm like, have you even tried it? Or you have had one experience, it was a bad one, doesn't mean that that is a bad thing. When you really feel free with somebody, you will not think about, okay, we're going to do that, and that, and that, and that, but not that. I mean, like a whole list. And do we agree on this list?
The key, though, is to feel free with yourself first. So it always is a personal journey before it is a journey with another. And I love what you're saying about your body and this like relationship that you're constantly cultivating with its desires, with its aches, with its pains, with its cravings, with whatever, and that's exactly, that's exactly how we're supposed to build all of our relationships. All of our intimate relationships should be the same. They should come from this model of this relationship that we've built with our body, because our body houses all of our internal knowing. And so that's like the key, the primary relationship here. And then that relationship informs all other relationships. So you can look at all your relationships and you'll see a mirror for the relationship you have with your body.
Yes, and most people will be like, "What?" I cannot come up with an example now, but do you have an example just for people to get it? I'm still digging, but if you have one, please go.
Well, yes. So I don't know if it's very funny or not, but I used to be significantly overweight, and I dealt with that not by building a relationship with my body. I dealt with that by having surgery to fix my body. And so I went in this very external, how do I solve this problem externally? And so I went and had surgery, and I that didn't solve the problem.
It
The
just came
problem was
back.
not, the problem just came back. And so it was really building this relationship with my body step by step, little by little, being willing to feel everything my body was feeling. And this is what I coach women through, all the time, is really building that relationship with your body, because it contains everything. And if you can resolve this relationship with your body, then all the other it will filter out to everything else, because you'll have built the skills to contact with your inner knowing and your inner self. So that's the journey I'm on. It's the journey we're all on. And so it's beautiful to talk about it and see what's possible, and then to extrapolate it to everything else that we're doing here.
It's funny because I wanted to lose weight for a long time because I know exactly when I suddenly gained 7 kilos,
Mm.
which is 15 pounds, I think. And I managed to lose them all in a few months' time when I very consciously started paying attention to my body.
Mm.
Yes, I used intermittent fasting, which I still do, but that's simply because I'm listening to my body. My body is like, yeah, actually, I don't want food yet.
No.
But sometimes I wake up and like, okay, I really want to eat something now. And the first time I was like, hey, wait, I'm not supposed to eat until 3. And then I was like, okay, relax. And so it just depends on the day, what hour I eat. And my body's telling me like, okay, now we really need something. Or like, no, 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 relax. But also what I need, sweet, salty, or just raw vegetables. Sometimes I really crave something sweet, but often I crave fluid and fluid food. So like, let's say a watermelon, because I want to eat something, not just drink water, but I need the fluids or take yogurt or something like that. So, and I naturally lost the weight, and I can see it fluctuating a little bit. But does that really matter? As long as I can wear my pants again. Because I had to go and have my pants enlarged, and then I went back to the same lady, and she looked at me like, "What, bigger?" No, right? No, I said smaller, and I think even smaller than the pants originally were when I bought them 5 years ago. And so I was like, "Wow, I really reached this point." And now because when I stand under the shower, I have the mirror on the other side, so I can see. And I used to stand and like, oh gosh, this belly hanging. I was like, no, come on, I'm too young for that. And now I'm like, oh yeah, it's okay.
It's
I'm
okay.
not I don't have my 6-pack or 8-pack
Right.
back, but
Well,
it's
and I
okay.
always
I'm comfortable now.
a big part of my healing with loving my body, how it looks, is accepting and realizing that there's no ideal, that every body is supposed to look how it's supposed to look. It's not supposed to look like all the other bodies. We're here to be this beautiful, colorful tapestry of human expression, of God's expression through the human form. And that, so it's like we have all this marketing, you talked about marketing earlier, all this marketing towards these ideals, and we've built all these ideals of what is sexy, what is desirable, what is beautiful, what is worthy, all these very specific programs in our heads. And so finding my love for myself was the releasing of all those programs and seeing my body for the beauty that it was, exactly how it was. So I always say, if I gain 20 pounds, that's the weight I'm supposed to be. If I lose 20 pounds, that's the weight I'm supposed to be. And whatever weight I am today is the weight I'm supposed to be, because this is my expression, my divine expression. So
Yes, and it's beautiful that you went back to the self-love. I mean, loving yourself and loving your body is very connected because your body is part of yourself. You have your heart, your soul, your higher self, whatever you can imagine about that. But it all starts with self-acceptance, self-love. Also, if you want a partner in your life, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect somebody else to love you?
Right.
I mean, it's very simple. Otherwise, it's just a need that you need sex or you need somebody to take care of you. So then better hire a butler or hire a prostitute. I mean, because that is what you need. Because that's what you're literally saying. That's what I want. So, okay, but don't trick somebody in being your partner and then only for this or that need because you're not being honest, not with yourself and also not with the other.
Right, you're out of integrity, and the only way you can be out of integrity is if you haven't found that love for yourself. Because once you have that true self-love in your core, you have to act from a place of integrity because you know what it feels like to not be in integrity.
Yes, I got a wonderful compliment from somebody, which was not meant as a compliment. It was like, "You bastard, you only do what you like to do." I was like, "Thank you. Wow, I reached that point finally that I'm not sacrificing myself for somebody else.
Yes.
Because helping is not sacrifice.
Yes.
Sacrifice is definitely not helping. Because sacrifice is cutting out a piece of yourself to give it to somebody else. And if you do that long enough, you end up having nothing. So
Nothing
people
to
cannot lean on you anymore. If you're weak, they cannot lean on you. So you need to take damn good care of yourself so that actually you can be a support for others. And if something doesn't feel good for you, then how can it be a good thing to do? But if helping somebody really feels good for you, then you know it's the right thing to do. And then it's not suffering. You don't suffer while doing it. Doesn't feel like a sacrifice because it's natural.
Right, because you're coming from that place of integrity. And I like to think of integrity as structural integrity. Like you said, you're coming from a place of strength. If I'm out of integrity, I don't have the strength to give. So there's no point in doing it. It's just undermining everything that I've built. So everything has to come from that core of integrity for sure.
And it starts in the family with the parents. Do they do what they do because they want, because they love it, or because they were told they have to? And that's where the examples start and where we actually, start to go on a self-destructive path.
Right. Well, and then you get back into we circle back into all the desires that have been programmed in you. So I live in America, and so we have this very commercialized culture of more sacrifice your life in favor of your work ethic so that you can have everything. And I subscribed to that for a long time. I used to live in $1 million house and I had, everything that I ever wanted, but I wasn't happy and I wasn't living in integrity.
Yep, it's exactly what I stand now. I have a small apartment, but it has everything I need. Sometimes I think that it would be practical to have one extra room, but I do manage, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
What I used to have, 4-room apartment, penthouse, literally top floor, with a beautiful view. I even had a huge company car, BMW 5 Series, and I was so proud. But already there, I was starting with the consciousness, so it was more joy of having the freedom of going wherever I want to go, which I could also have by borrowing this old Opel Astra from a friend of mine, which I don't know if you have them in the US, but it's like a little bit bigger than a Smart. Let's say a Smart, but then a little bit wider. So that was also giving me that freedom, knowing that I could tell my friend, "Hey Ben, can I borrow your car? Because I want to go somewhere." And he was like, "Okay, just pick it up." And so it was more about those things. What really makes you happy in the end?
Yeah.
And yes, I was happy to have the space, but then at a certain moment, it also cost money. So I needed to stay in that job that I didn't like to pay for the bill. What am I doing here? So I started renting out a room. I would have the money again. But yeah, but then I don't have my privacy. So it was constantly sacrificing, constantly making compromises. And that didn't really make me happy.
Right.
Where today I'm the least wealthiest from the past 20 years, I guess. Okay, it's difficult to compare because I'm living in a country where the life standard is lower, I mean financially lower, but I have all the comfort I need and I'm really happy. Even happier when I had this job what I really loved and I was earning a lot of money, but I was not happy on the inside yet. So on the outside, I started to be happier, but deep down, there was still something like. So I still made very bad choices when it came to love relationships and things like that because I was not in line with myself, and so I was not happy in the end. At the beginning, yes, the relationship was nice, but at the moment it was like until kaboom.
Right.
And now I'm like, no, I know what I want, and I don't know what I don't want.
Yeah.
And when I will meet the person, I will feel it in here and will know. And that will be okay. And the same thing with connecting with people on a platonic level. I have more friends than real friends than I ever had before. I used to have hundreds of friends. But now I can say I'm a millionaire when it comes to friends because I have 10 people easily that I can call to have a real conversation with on a deep level. Not a superficial bullshit. Hey, how are you? Yeah, no. When somebody asks you how are you get the real answer, and you really listen, and also ask like, okay, why do you feel like this? What is causing this? And then you have a real conversation, and then you say that, oh wait, I recognize it. I went through this, or I'm also going through this. So tell me your perspective on it. Then you get this conversation. At the end, you actually know how to resolve whatever issue you have. But it's without leaving ego, put a barrier, and just be good. No, this is who I am. This is what I'm going through. This is what's bothering me. So let's see what is actually bothering me. And now when I have conversations with people, I'm energized at the end. I'm not drained. Even sometimes I have evenings where I'm talking for 6 hours in a row because I have call after call, but they're such beautiful people. Afterwards, yes, I need a moment for myself, on my own, but I'm not tired. I just need time to process things. I feel great because it's feeding, because it's a connection from here.
Right.
And so for me, the only way to connect is from here. If you don't want to connect from here, walk away from me, or I'll walk away from you. From here or no connection. So yeah.
That's really beautiful. And I think it's so profound, this value of that human connection. It is what we are all striving for. And we're just, we've been programmed to strive for it in the wrong places. And there's only one true answer, and it's the answer that's in your heart. And that's why it's so hard, because there's not a book that tells you how to be happy. There's only your heart. And if you're unwilling to feel everything around your heart, all the pain that it might be enveloped in at the moment, then you'll never get to that truth that's guiding you every moment.
It's one letter difference, hard and hard. So if something gets hard, go into your heart and things will get easier, or you know to change course. Do you have any last thoughts or things we forgot to mention that you're like,
well,
oh,
I was gonna say, as you were talking about, living your simple life, I haven't really talked about my life. But we just a month ago sold all of our possessions and moved into a motorhome. And so we are really trying to get to as simple as possible so that we can feel our hearts, follow our hearts. We're both adventure nomad souls. at the core, and one of my purposes is to bring boundlessness into this world, and so we're following this very heart-driven tantric lifestyle of being led and being guided uh, all throughout the country, and meeting people, and it's been really a joy meeting strangers, not people that we might come into contact with in groups online.
Yeah. No, wait.
Really connecting and finding strangers, and seeing how similar we all are, and that's been really beautiful to have how I've worked on the healing to heal my heart so it can be open, and then bringing that open heart to other people and really seeing what's troubling people, what they want to share, what they need to share. People who have lacked human communication for a long time, they don't have any friends, they're maybe living on the streets. We've really come in contact with a wide variety of people, and it's really been such a beautiful journey so far. And so we're just enjoying this space of really feeling the simplicity of just following our hearts.
Beautiful. That I'm very glad you shared this, because it crossed my mind, and I'm happy you remembered it now, because it's about simplicity, and many people have talked about that. There is this picture I saw from Einstein meeting Charlie Chaplin, and they both made a compliment to each other regarding the simplicity, and I was trying to remember what it exactly was. I'll definitely put it in the comments under the post. It was something like, Charlie Chaplin was amazed how Einstein could take something so enormous and explain it in such a simple way. And Einstein said a similar thing about the simplicity, because it was, Charlie Chaplin was almost never talking in his movies. I think there's only one or two movies where he's speaking. But he was transmitting so much just through the gestures and acting in a very simple way, but very refined. So we look for that quote, and I was thought, because when you read it, you're like, oh yeah, this makes sense. And how I try to explain it now. But the simplicity. Oh yeah, and somebody else who talked about it, Richard Branson, who's an entrepreneur who has more than 500 companies. People know from Virgin Records back in the day. I mean, he made the Rolling Stones big. And he says, if you have an idea for something, you need to be able to write it on a postcard or on the back of this, how you call these things that you put under these paper tiles that you put under your beer glass. If you cannot write it on such a small piece of paper, then you're not ready to go.
It's great. So great.
Simplicity at the core. Like when we have these projects, don't try to figure out all the steps. If you feel this is the direction to go, then feel. And walking is just putting one foot in front of the other. So now the most important thing is, if you want to start walking, is to take the first step. And if you want to keep walking, again, you take that next step. So you focus every time on that next step. You can have a vision, but then leave it open for the universe to show you where you need to divert a bit. Pick up the tools you need on your journey to build whatever you're building. And that's living in simplicity.
Yes.
Not complexity. We love to complicate our life.
We love to complicate it. We love to make it so serious.
Oh yeah, we need to be very, very, very serious. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm sure there's a link here or whatever. I'll post a link. So you can follow me on my personal page, which is Jen Allyson. And then I also have a healers group called The Healers Arise. If you feel connected to the healer archetype, join me there. And I am also building a sisterhood. It's called Rebel Creatrix Sisterhood. And that's in the like embryo phase right now. So if you feel aligned with the words I'm speaking, send me a DM and we'll see if we hit it off, and I'll keep you updated on what's going on with the sisterhood. And then my wife and I, we are launching our blog for all of our adventures, and it's going to be rebelcreatrix.com. So
nice. The healing group, is it for people who want to heal themselves or who want to heal others, or?
It's for people who resonate with the healer archetype. So generally healers are working on healing themselves first, and then they move that healing, all their modalities and everything, into helping other people. So we're all both. So if you feel like you have done a lot of healing work and then you feel like you want to share that healing work with others, then that's the healer archetype.
I had a feeling, but I wanted to hear you say it, so it's also clear for people. Yeah. Can you link those in the comments?
Yes, I'll come back here.
People can have a real look. They don't need to remember it. They can just look and yeah, get a feel. And I will do the same where people can find me if they have questions. And I want to thank you for your time. We spent over an hour talking. I really appreciate you very much. I appreciate the wisdom that you bring and that you're willing to share without shame, without fear. It's a beautiful thing to do, which is inspiring. And I know our paths will cross again. I don't know how yet, but I know there is more coming. So people may see us again together here or in another form. And I want to share, thank everyone for watching now or in the replay. If there are questions, just post them or contact us directly. Because I know Jen, she will definitely answer, because she answered me as well after I invited her to be a contact, and then to have a call to just get to know each other, and then to also do this. So yeah, just feel free to ask. I wanted actually to put that people could put things in the questions, but people would have put something if they would have had. So if anybody has a hanging question, now's the time. Want the live answer? I'm counting to 3. 1, 2. Yeah, hands up. No live answer. But I myself, I do record videos sometimes when I get very good questions. I make a whole video about it. So feel free to ask, and I'll see what I can do. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jen.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And I will end the transmission here. Like, subscribe, and share.